Okay, hi. Today, for this little tutorial, what we're going to do is take a look at preparing data for use in a Badge GeoMap. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the Badge Geo website itself. And the data, the sample data is right here, and we can take a look at its structure by selecting it and coming in here and copying it with just a Command C, and then going into Excel and pasting it just with the Command V. And that should come in hopefully nice and clean, separated by tabs. And if we expand those columns, we can see how it's structured. And this is pretty basic, right? So we have an example address, a city, a state, a zip, and then the name of the record, a phone number, an example group, and a URL, all in separate columns, and they all have a header to those columns, right, or a header row. So for the sake of today's example, what we're going to be trying to do is take some information from the Lee County School District and get it into a format that we know will work for Badge Geo, right? And so those critical columns again are city, state, zip, address, city, state, and zip. So let's take a look and see what we can find, right? If we go back into Chrome and take a look at school performance grades, this is actually what we're going to build our map around. This information is freely available on most, I would assume, all Florida County school district websites. And it's also available at the state level, right? So if we scroll down here, what we can see are all of the elementary schools in Lee County and the grades that they've received for the past 6 years, right? So we're just going to take this information and select it all. We're just going to focus on these elementary schools right now. So we're going to select that, copy it, and then return to Excel. And we're going to create a new sheet by clicking down here on the plus tab. And so we've got a new sheet here, and we're just going to do another command paste or command V to paste. And that information all comes in nice and tabular too, right? Now it looks like these cells are empty up here, but they're not. The text is just white. And so what we're going to do while we have that selection made is we're going to go up to Edit, Clear, Formats. Okay, and now you can see that that information is in there in the header rows, right? But so what's missing, right? The what's missing are all of those critical fields that we need for the address, city, state, and zip code to put together with this, right? So for that, we're going to go to a different page on the Lee County website and see what we can find, right? So this is something that's available in Lee County, and again, I would assume something similar is available for just about every school district. And what we have here is a list of elementary schools. And if we take a look at the information that's available, there's a lot of good stuff in here. So we have the name of the elementary school, the principal, the address, and you'll note that the address, city, state, and zip code are all on one line. But then we have the phone number, fax number, the SLN number, and honestly, I don't even know what that is. We have the grade range for the school, whether or not they require uniforms, the school zone itself, so this one is in South 1, and the capacity of the school, right? So this is all really good information. But what we need to do is figure out how to get it into Excel in a way that's useful, right? So if I come down here and select all of this, and we'll scroll down to the bottom while we're selecting and copy it. Let's see, we should be getting there. Veterans Park. There we go, down to villas. If we do a copy, Command C, and then go back into Excel, I'm going to create a new sheet and do a paste. So first we'll just do a regular Command V paste. Okay, and you'll see that basically what we're getting is all of this stuff. It brings in some formatting with it. So let's just do a quick kind of cleanup of that by going to Edit, Clear Formats. And because there's some links in there, do you see how that little finger comes up? Those are HTTP links or web links or whatever we're calling them, hyperlinks. That's right. So what we're going to do is get rid of those two. So we'll go to Edit, Clear Hyperlinks as well. And so now that's not interactive, and that should be easier to work with. So if we auto expand the column, then you can see that this comes in pretty much like it looked like on the website, but you can also see that there's no real chance of easily combining the information that we see here with, let's see, we'll click on the next one, with the information that we see here. It's formatted differently, right? So, so what we're going to do next is one approach that I use pretty regularly to clean up this information and make it more suitable, right? So I've still got that copied from the website. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to InDesign, all right? So for me, InDesign works really well, but you can also do it in Illustrator, and you can even do it in Microsoft Word. But because of my background, I just find that InDesign is sort of the easiest environment for me to do this in, right? So I'm going to click on InDesign, and I'm going to create a new document. Oh, I'm back in Excel. Let me find InDesign again, and I might have that in the wrong window. Yeah, so this is where I worked on it before, so I'm actually going to close this, and we'll go over this process again. So I'll do a File, New Document. And in here, and not that this is a necessary step, but I created in a saved setting something that I call a grid cleaner. And basically what it is, it's like a super huge, ridiculously sized document that has no actual bearing. But what it allows me to do is edit a lot of text on one page. So we're going to go ahead and create that. And see, that's like one piece of paper, so it's really super long, and it just comes in handy for making long, complex edits, right? So then we go to our text tool, and I'm going to draw a really long text frame, and then hit Command V to paste. And you can see, we'll zoom way in, you can see that all of that information comes up here pretty cleanly in InDesign. So let's take a look at this information and figure out how we can convert it to what we can use in Excel and ultimately Batch Geo, right? And what we basically want to do is get every school record on one line, all right? So let's take a look at how to do that. So the first thing that we notice is that there's a break between each record, right? And that's sort of like a really fortunate feature for us. So, like I said, this can be done in almost any program that's capable of, some reasonably sophisticated text editing. So what we're going to do is actually go up here to Edit, Find, and Change. Okay, so this is just like any word processor where you can find a word and replace it, right? But in addition to finding words, we can also find symbols, we can find invisible symbols, we can find things like carriage returns, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to look for any place where there's like a return to the next line, and we're going to replace that with a tab, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to Find, and if we look at this special symbols over here, special characters for search, we're going to pull that down, and we're just going to go to end of paragraph and see if that works. Now, there are a couple of different types of break characters, But let's just try end of paragraph and see what that works now. We don't need two of them, so we'll pull that out. And we're going to change it to a tab, right? So that's one of the first things that we see is a tab here. Now it asks us if we're going to search the whole story or just the selection, but we're going to do the story, and that refers to the text block here, and we're just going to go change all and see what happens, right? So it says search is complete, 292 replacements made. Okay, so we're going to hit OK. And then what you'll see is that this text was all turned into one giant never-ending paragraph, right? So is that helpful? Not yet, right? But if you remember, what we had in there was a position where we had two returns before getting to the next record, right? So we changed the end of paragraph to a tab, right? So we had two end of paragraphs in a row at that one point, changed to two tabs. So now what we're going to do is reverse that. So we're going to change, I'll delete that, and we'll go to change tab to back to an end of paragraph. Okay, and we're going to do that in the whole story, and we're just going to hit change all, and we'll see what happens. Search is complete, 49 replacements were made. So when we hit OK, you can see now that this is starting to look a little more structured. Okay, so for now we're going to be done. And let's take a look at how we can clean this up. So the first thing we're going to do is insert some tabs in here to make sure everything is breaking up right. So we'll do select all and Command-Shift-T to open up tabs, and we'll start inserting some tabs in there and moving them around to see if things line up correctly. And we might need to expand our text block a little bit. Let's do that right now. And so we'll turn that off and open this up. Open this up again. And so you can see that we're getting pretty close to what we need, right? So back to adding and editing tabs. We want to make sure that as much of this stuff is coming up as clean as possible. Okay, and we'll add another tab there for the SLN. So this is basically the 5 different lines of text. Okay, so we can see that we have the name of the school, the principal, the address of the school, the phone numbers for phone and fax, and then all of this other information, right? So we're off to a pretty good start. So if we just copy and paste this into Excel, and we'll do that in a new sheet again. So we're going to try just doing a regular paste. Oop. Let's see. Let's try that one more time. Select all, copy. Oh, because maybe this is selected. Select all, copy. Sorry. Copy, Command-C. And Excel, Command-V. And you can see that this comes in all sort of merged together again. So we want to undo that. And here we're going to do a paste special. So we go to Edit, Paste Special. And we're going to put this in as text because that'll bring in our tabs. Okay, so now we have information that looks a lot more usable. But we can go even further with this, okay? And so I'm going to save that for a part 2 of this video.